Delaney.
It's Kamiko.
It's Nikki.
And it's Marcia, and welcome to a ChitChat with the LoveChat podcast.
Well, we are gathered here once again. Thank you guys for tuning in. As we always talk about Insecure, but before we talk about Insecure, we felt like it was really appropriate for us to just stop, pause, and reflect about everything that is going on worldwide at this point.
Worldwide.
The murder of George Floyd, and not just George Floyd, but numerous other Black and brown people.
Countless, right? Mm-hmm. At the hands of the government, the police. So
yeah. I think our hearts are really heavy right now, as are the hearts of many in our nation. But like Jelani said, even worldwide, I mean, there's protests going on overseas about what's happening here in America.
Every single continent. It's just where people are. It's crazy. It's kind of bittersweet, if you will, to see people coming together. But for this, and it's in the middle of a global pandemic, as if it wasn't heavy enough. And then in the middle of a pandemic, you have time to murder an unarmed Black man. It just is, it's been a lot. So we really hope everybody's taking the time to find your content place, your happy place, whatever it is that you need to get get through this, because it's been a lot, y'all. It's been a lot.
Yeah, it really has. And I know for one, it's just every day watching the news and talking to my husband and my brothers, and you think about all those Black men that mean so much to you in your life, and thinking it could have been them. But not only them, you think about the women too, like Breonna, So it's just so deep. It's so heavy. I wish that we had leadership that could say something to bring the country together, but unfortunately, we don't.
It's just as divisive as ever.
And I think as difficult as it may be for some or all of us to have conversations, I would just encourage people to have those conversations, even when you're nervous to do so, even when you feel like you might not have all the answers, even when you feel like you might not know exactly what to say. I would encourage you to pause, take a breath, and to have the conversation, right? To help people who are truly interested in wanting to do the work, wanting to learn more, wanting to know how they can help. And even sometimes you just have to have the conversation with yourself. Like Kamiko was saying, finding your place of contentment, whether you're taking a break from social media. I had to do that today because things were just so heavy. But find the time to have conversations, not only with yourself, but with those people who are in your immediate circle, your friends, your family, people who you might not know, who might see you as the person that they feel comfortable asking. And I know it might come from a place of, well, you should know, but if we don't take the time to help people answer questions, we also leave the opportunity for them to continue to be ignorant in some cases. So
very true.
I'm going to take a different track and say, I agree with Jelani, but
I know you.
Some of us have been having these conversations for a very long time, and I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm done. If you don't understand by now, if you can see what is like, the country is literally burning to the ground. And if you want to all lives matter me right now, I'm not even here for it. Yeah. I'm not here for it. I'm not. And to a certain extent, I don't mind a conversation, but I personally am not explaining. I've been explaining for a good 20 years.
Yeah.
I'm not doing it anymore. I'm done.
Yeah.
So go. I'm gonna direct you to Jelani and Marcia. I don't know how Nikki feel.
I'm from a certain type of community, and my whole life I've been the encyclopedia of Blackness.
Right.
I don't speak for the whole race, but taxing and so I'm at a point in a place right now where I'm just kind of like, if you're a Black person in America, that you just do the best that you can,
Right.
If you don't. We all understand what injustice feels like, and we know the plight of a Black person in America. And so I don't feel like it's on anybody to tell any Black person what to do. We all should just do what we feel is best for ourselves,
Right.
self-care, and however we want to protest and however we want to, say that Black Lives Matter. We do it. I feel like we should be able to do it however we want to, because no one understands our plight better than we do. And I don't feel like anybody should tell any other Black person what to do and how to feel. I mean, I'm not gonna say what you should or shouldn't do, but if you do certain things, I understand.
I understand.
Like, we build free, as they say. If we want to burn it down.
Not that we're condoning any violence.
No, we're not condoning violence, but we do understand.
We understand.
And you know what? I thank those protesters that are out there. I thank them for putting themselves on the line.
That are truly out there to protest.
Right. I mean, and look, everybody out there from me. This is me. As long as you ain't out there trying to clown, which I've seen a lot of that.
Yes. And some that are sprinkled into the protesters that are really not out there for us.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, it's I think the most disheartening part, and I was talking to my dad, and he really got kind of choked up. He was like, I just did not work this hard and march and do all the things that I did in my youth for my grandkids. So, like, having to sit here and try to explain this to my 9-year-old is just kind of unreal. And having these conversations and talking to her about race and why people might feel this way towards her. She has a game that her and her friends play online, and some people in there were like Black Lives Matter and like one of the chat pieces, and that just started a whole thing. And thankfully she came to talk to me about it. And so I'm sitting here talking to her and my goddaughter about all this stuff. They see the news. So it just, don't tell me all lives matter, because you're not trying to sit here and talk to your kids about how people are going to treat them differently in life.
Right, exactly.
Because of the color of their skin.
Exactly.
Period.
You're right.
I haven't had anybody approach me with the all lives matter.
Oh.
I will say I have people. I got an interesting message today from somebody I hadn't talked to since 2014 that I'm friends with on social media. And her message really took me back because I hadn't talked to her since 2014. She's white. But her message was, of course, like, hey, I'm sorry it's been so long since we've talked. But then she took the time, because I forgot how good of friends we were in high school. And I didn't realize the impact that her, being a white person coming over to my house, had on her life. You know what I'm saying? And it was a really interesting thread of conversation that we had, because there were some things going on in her life that I didn't recognize or pick up on perhaps when I was in high school. But, she talked very clearly about how things that happened, experiences that happened, conversations that we had that I had genuinely forgot how they have caused her to make certain decisions in her life. And I was appreciative of her for reaching out, even though we hadn't talked in 6 years. But I think that, sometimes you have people out there who don't know what to say. And that's kind of like one of the first things she says, I don't really know what to say.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that right, wrong, or indifferent, there are people out here who don't know what to say, but know that things are wrong.
That something's wrong.
It doesn't feel right.
It doesn't feel right. And they have the dignity to say, it doesn't feel right. I'm sorry. I don't know what to say or how to make you feel better. And that's what, not that I'm looking for that from the president, but I know that the nation kind of gets that normally from our leadership. And I guess that's what has me so shook. I don't even know why I'm surprised by his actions, especially, his press conference tonight. But I want to just say this, when you have people like Netflix and, Amazon and all these big, huge companies that are coming forth and saying how they feel about the Black community, how they feel about this whole George Floyd thing, but you don't have the president of the United States come out and say that.
Yeah.
It's like, it
You
just
know these two. You know these two.
right. We know. You don't have him say anything about what the country is going through, and yet he wants to deploy troops. Like, I don't know. It's
That's
just
insane.
all I got to say is y'all need to stay prayed up. I shout out to Fred Hammonds and Kirk Franklin for that verses that they did the other night, because baby, when I tell you my soul needed that.
Whew.
Yeah.
So that's my
I need
solitude.
another one.
I know. They were asking for it every Sunday. I'm like, hallelujah.
Like, for real, we need one today. But I think Marcia raises a very interesting point. And me being the skeptical one, of course, I'm like, were they doing it last week, or are they doing it this week because everybody else is doing it?
Well,
whether they're doing it because everybody else is doing it or
first.
not, at least they're doing it.
No,
that's how I
that
feel.
track. Yeah, I don't.
That's
Yeah.
not. Yeah, they just got a lot of pressure, and they started.
There are certain things that people in these corporations, some, not all, and it might just be a couple, it might be a handful, they understand the power of the minority dollar and the economic impact that we have. And their decision not to make a statement, even if they do not believe it, has huge implications. So there are going to be some companies, I think, who are making statements because people are like, checking the list. Okay, did
this celebrities, companies, if you had done it by now, what's up with you?
Yeah.
What's up with you? And I don't even mean just a statement about some blanket statement, kind of like the NFL. I mean a Black Lives Matter. I mean a racism is wrong. Like, if you can't say those words, you can keep your statement too.
And also give some money to support some of these, different what you call them?
Different organizations that are on the front lines, that are bailing people out, that are fighting laws, that are, the ACLU nationally constantly is fighting different laws. But there are local places that you can look for in your communities that are fighting these things every day. A lot of times it's your local NAACP if you have one. It's usually one in your state. But there are definitely local organizations on the ground doing this work all the time because, God bless Mr. Floyd, because things like this happen all the time, and his just happened to get recorded and spark this flame this last week. But how many times have we been in the same place?
It's just a perfect storm because, we're in a pandemic. People already feeling
people at home.
Everybody's at home on social media so much because this is not the first time that we've seen something feel.
No, of course not.
We've seen so many lynchings, and I mean, it's throughout our whole history, but, people have seen them in person, seen them filmed. But we're like the only race of people who've ever been oppressed and, done so wrongly that's never gotten an apology, reparations, or anything to help us. That's why Germany and even South Africa has been able to move forward a little bit quicker than we have because they've acknowledged the past and what they have done wrong, and then also, giving money. I mean, everybody in the country has.
Our leadership can't acknowledge the past. Our leadership can't acknowledge the now.
Right.
So,
I mean, at a certain point, we have to look. A zebra never changes its stripes, right? So we're not. I don't know that I would. If he comes out and says something, I understand that some communications person has strong armed him at this point. Like, you know what I mean?
Say anything because
the thing is, like, I don't want him to say anything. I don't expect him to at this point.
But I wasn't expecting what he said.
You can't get up there and tell me anything when you chose to put people in cages.
Yep.
I mean,
there's nothing about what you're going to say is going to make me believe you.
He's always violated civil rights laws anyway, ever since he was a landlord and owned property. I mean,
but him deploying the U.S. military on U.S. citizens is totally like that's.
Yeah.
And let's be clear, it's not just that he has that very old, I think it was 1870s law that he is deploying to have military, U.S. military on U.S. soil, also empowers U.S. citizens to take up arms against other U.S. citizens.
Constitutional lawyers
Okay.
are crazy. They're like,
It's crazy.
he is just stumping all over the Constitution.
But you know what? Let me take this time to say, if you don't vote in your local elections, if you don't vote for these judges, if you don't vote for these people who are local to you, not just in the like all these people who are out here talking about Joe Biden, this, Joe Biden, that. Yes, he's very important. But guess what? Your senators are as important.
Exactly.
Your local and state government and your governor are just as important.
If you in Atlanta, reach out to the LoveChat podcast. I'm gonna get you to the polls.
But y'all know I always say politics is local. You feel it locally. They make all the decisions. Your DA. That's why George Floyd. It took forever. You know, it's still taking forever for them to get charged because the DA does that. They're the ones that get orders of arrest. Not
right.
The United States. That's a federal thing. Federal laws work on federal level, federal prison systems. All that is so separate. What happens in your state, that's why it affects you so much, and that's why local elections are so important. That's why your governor, when your state got shut down, you know, that's why, you know, the governor could open it back up.
Your mayors.
And your mayors, you know, they the ones make the decisions. And see, you know, Keisha Lance Bottom's hands were tied when Governor Kemp changed because he had the ultimate authority. He is at a higher level.
Like she said,
she can shut it down. Like she shut it down before she shut Atlanta down before he shut down the state. But when it comes to funding for unemployment and all these other things that can allow places to stay shut down, that's at the governorship level. And it's nothing she can do to help. I mean, they have some people who have donated some money for rent and other things for some people locally, but ultimately her hands are tied. And right now she's dealing with that. She's dealing with all this stuff. Like, y'all know how much I love this city. And it's just kind of crazy how some of this is going down. Like from downtown to Buckhead, like y'all done smashed out the Children's Museum windows. Like, it's crazy. Like, it's a lot.
Yeah. I think it's a lot. I think people need to vote. I think people need to encourage. I think that people need to pay attention to what's going on in their local elections. You guys could not have said that better. I think that we could probably sit around and talk and debate and, you know.
We matter. Black lives matter.
I think that we could talk about this probably for hours. And I feel like even that conversation would be a mix of emotions because I feel like I personally have been super emotional lately with everything that's going on. So I'm going to ask people on the podcast to pay attention to what's going around them, vote in your local elections, and I'm going to ask us, the four of us, to switch gears.
Yeah. So let's get some happy thoughts in here.
LowKey happy.
Bro, she got her absentee ballot. So, as interestingly enough, look, I got mine right here. Interestingly enough,
you haven't sent it?
No, I emailed mine.
Emailed it.
Emailed.
And look, Todd came in my hand and come. This song ain't that about something?
Oh, all of ours came at the same time.
I emailed mine way before I even got it.
They said, "Oh, she angry." Nope.
Exactly. That's probably what happened. Don't worry, I'm going up there tomorrow to go vote.
Anyway, so you guys are all gathered here, or if you're listening on the podcast, we are talking about LowKey Happy episode number.
Happy.
Episode number.
Such a great episode, y'all. Everybody is so happy about this. This episode, we needed it.
So, in the words of our girl Issa, you make me happy. Thank you guys for joining us. Maybe a little sunshine, there may be a little shade, but we always try to mix in a little love. So let's get it cracking, because y'all know I have been team Issa and Lawrence, and baby, this made me happy.
They delivered
the ear.
Me too. I was cheesing like the whole episode. Like my face was literally hurting. I was smiling so much.
Yes.
Like all of us are smiling now. Like it's.
I know.
Yes.
It was
good. All right. So the episode kicks off immediately where it left off, because last week, remember, after the little San Francisco joke, Lawrence was walking out of the airport like, "Hey, I've been thinking about you with his rap. And who did we call? Who did he call? Exactly who I thought he was calling, our girl Issa.
Yes.
So they are meeting up at the bar, and in true Issa fashion, she walks through the door, and bam.
But wait, I was just like, oh, she looks so cute.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, she's looking good.
And when it started, I was like, they are not
that blazer in black.
let her fall. They let
I
her
need
fall.
that blazer in black and a size large. Thanks. Whoever, anybody out there
She
listening.
choked on the alkaloid, so.
Yeah.
Right.
My
They're
boobs
both
too big.
they're both awkward.
They are.
And that's what makes them so
and awkward
Or
together.
awkward together, yeah. Like,
and that's what makes them so cute because they can be awkward together, you know?
Right. Right.
Like I loved watching their dynamic, their banter, them finishing each other's sentences. I was like, dear Jesus.
But wait, but when she fell and he was like, you need a minute. It's like he
She was
knew.
like, yeah.
Right. Yes. But when she finally gets up, she comes to the bar, she sits down, and he tries to order a cocktail, and she was like,
No, he ordered the cocktail.
he
already.
ordered it. Yeah.
I'm not drink anymore, which I felt like was Issa's first moment of, I've changed. Like, you know, like you don't know me like you used to know me.
I'm leveling up.
Yeah.
Right. Now I drink, what you say? A
Sex
shot of vodka? Yeah.
Going.
Prosecco with a shot of vodka.
So we definitely need
Love
to
it.
LoveChat because I've never had that before.
Oh, it's great.
She used to drink it with whiskey. Now she just wishes
Love
it.
it.
It was just like one thing.
Right. So she tells me that used to be my drink. It's not my drink anymore. And he's
I always throw a little vodka in my wine, everything.
I thought we had done that on one of our
I feel like we did too.
somebody did that.
Jelani did that.
I was
Remember,
like,
but
the one that did it.
But it was
she
too
made-
much vodka.
It was so
She put
strong.
more vodka than
Yeah.
champagne.
Yeah, it was so strong.
We
I
couldn't drink it.
No. But I did
Yeah.
drink
It's
it.
supposed to be a splash.
okay, back to the episode. Y'all off track, okay? So orders the cocktail. It's completely loud in the bar. And they're
Well,
talking
she great till they gotta be right.
Right.
That dude,
that was hilarious.
I was
It
laughing.
was so funny.
Yeah. And she said something like, this is a Lizzo bar, this is something in the beginning. And then they started playing Lizzo music and it was like, hey, shout out to Lizzo.
I mean, it was
the bar,
so loud.
the quiet happy hour after work bar became the club, right?
Right.
Look,
Right. So they decide they're gonna leave and go someplace else. He says, let me order us a Lyft, whips out his phone.
And I was like,
Black car
the
says,
look on her face
oh,
goes back to when she was talking to her brother, like Condola is getting
Condola
what
benefit.
I've been.
yep.
Let's give me this car benefit.
Exactly.
Let you order the ride.
right.
Come on, you set.
That was
Let you ask for the place.
Let him get his grown man on.
right. That was him saying perhaps things have changed on my end as well.
Exactly.
And we gotten a funnier Lyft driver than whoever was driving. the
Girl,
car.
I was crying. Okay.
I think she's a actress from something, but I couldn't remember.
He said, where y'all from? And Issa said, Alaska.
And then she's like, oh, it must be cold this time of year. He said, yeah, she was some no global warming.
Yeah. She was like, climate change. Nope.
It was so cute because they were both kind of just playing off of each other. It was just so cute.
Yeah, she's like,
And
don't
then-
get
Especially that they still know each other so well.
Yay.
I love that.
But I guess it hasn't been that long that they've been broken up. Maybe a year or so.
Year-ish.
Together
Yeah.
so long. It's easy
Right.
to break back into that rapport.
But when he said he bought a ring,
That's what
and that lady stopped the car, took him with the light.
put that light on them. I know it.
He was like, do it now. Do it now.
I was like, oh my gosh.
Girl, then she done called him the N-word. I was like, oh
Right.
my God.
Do it, man.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that was so funny. But she was like, oh, so y'all a couple, and neither one of them they was like, neither one of them really said no.
Nope,
you know, and y'all got that old, y'all on your first date? No, y'all got that old school young blood then. Well, it was sweet.
It was sweet.
So, but we forgot to mention that they decided to go to a restaurant. Lawrence remembered a restaurant that Issa had been basically sounds like hounding him to take
her. But they both didn't have coins like that, right? Well, he definitely didn't have coins like that back then.
You remember in season 1, she was trying to get him to do stuff, and he just never, even if she was going to pay, like, because she had a job.
So they make it to the restaurant, and Issa this whole "I've been here, I know what I'm doing." Like,
even though she told him she hadn't been.
Right. And so she's like, a few times.
And he was like, yeah. She orders what feels like the whole
meal. Orders everything and his drink. Like, I changed too, boo. So it was just super, super cute. I mean, their banter back and forth. But I think that this dinner was such a pivotal moment for them, you know, to kind of get that true closure and ask the questions. Like, he was like, you know, no eggshells tonight. We know each other too well. Let's just talk this out.
Well, it was deep. It was like, what did you want to talk about? Like, that would have been bothering me.
Kept asking.
She kept on asking. He was dragging it out.
Never lasted that long. I would have never lasted, because y'all know I'd be like, what's the problem? I would have never lasted that long, because she waited forever to figure out what it is that he wanted to talk to her about.
I think deep down,
yeah. But
I think she also said, I'm dying here. Are you okay? You know, you always been. What you said something about his legs being skinny or something?
You a little skinny. Give him something to eat.
Right.
I always say he needs a pork chop. He's looking a little skinny. Yeah. But I will say, I was, you know, I felt like it took a lot of guts for Lawrence to just sit down and say, "Why, Daniel?" You know.
But you know what? Here's the thing. We feel like, in my mind, I feel like it's always the flip of that. It's usually the guy who's cheated and the woman who's coming to the guy like, why her? Or wanted to have that conversation. Shout out to him for finally, you know, getting it together. But in the middle of that conversation, Condoleezza call or text or whatever. And I'm like, what's going on here?
You know, we agreed on Tuesday, but can we meet tonight?
Let me tell y'all something.
And I was like, I hope he's not trying to play.
I was like, what he trying to pull? Right.
Yeah.
I'm still like,
I was really torn, but I did like I said, that open honesty. Issa pouring her heart out to tell him what really was going on with her, how he made her feel. And then on the flip side of that, him telling her how he was feeling. And it's almost like they both probably sitting up there like, damn, we really could have saved this relationship had we just talked.
Because I think for him to say, I had things going on and I blamed you when I wasn't dealing with my own ish is hard. It's hard for anybody to say. Now, like, to the point, it's usually, you know, the other way around where the man is cheated. But I think that's still hard for anybody to say. And I also think it's equally as hard. And I love the scene where Issa is telling him, like, I literally would drive around because I didn't want to come home. Like, so first of all, the way the whole restaurant quieted down when she started talking, the way the camera zeroed in on her, I was like, oh my gosh. But for her to say, I literally was driving around, you didn't want to have sex with me, you didn't want to go anywhere, you didn't want to, like, I think
you didn't want me.
She said you did not want me. Right.
It was hard for her to not only admit to herself, but to say to him.
Right.
But I feel like that's one of the few times where Issa has acknowledged her feelings, and I feel like maturely communicated them.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's been wonderful this season to see Issa kind of grow up. And to see even Lawrence, and this conversation is a conversation, like Jelani was saying, it's a hard conversation to have. Most people can't have it. Most people don't have it. And that's why their relationships just fall apart. And it just, you know, and some people never master the art of communication with their partner. And so it's been interesting to see that whole conversation happen. He talked about how he just, he saw her leaving for work every day. He thought about moving back to his parents' house, but that was just going to be worse. And just this woman taking care of him, and her dynamics of, like you said, not wanting to come home. Just, you didn't want me. You just didn't want me. And he was like, that wasn't the case, but that's how you made her feel.
Exactly.
So Daniel came at a time and made her feel wanted and desired. All them slippers.
Yeah.
And that was that. But she said too, I felt like you gave up on us. Yeah. You didn't fight for us. And I wish you would have.
Like that little conversation right there, I feel like we could talk about for months. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we could break that down.
Yeah, like breaking that down. We're gonna put that on the list for another time.
Right.
Right. Like, 'cause I watched that scene I think 3 times because I was just like, wow.
It was deep.
It was beautiful.
It was beautiful. Communicate so differently too, because he had a ring the whole time, but he said, well, we went and looked. But like you over here depressed and sad and not looking like you're crying, and the whole time you think you want to marry me, and she's like, and she's feeling undesired and just wants some attention. And the whole time I was like, ooh, I might be feeling a little sick.
Right.
Like you salvaged it and saved.
We wouldn't have been where we would be if we hadn't broken up or something like that.
Right.
But then
that brought me back to her flash forward of if they hadn't broken up, like
right. Right.
Yeah. And part of me kept feeling like this might be a dream sequence. I was feeling like,
I told Jamal that too.
I was like, please don't wake up. Please don't wake up.
I said, if somebody is dreaming,
that's a dream part.
Somebody is dreaming, I'm gonna be so pissed off.
Yeah, exactly.
Look if you bug time with Insecure and the writers.
Hey.
Real.
But they had this wonderful dinner, so then they leave, but they don't want to end the night.
Yeah, they don't want
to. Girl, but then when you hear, like,
I was hollering. She didn't. I love his personality and his confidence.
Yes.
And what was the girl's name?
Mazda.
Mazda was like, hey, y'all.
But when Lauren said, how do y'all know
each other? Yeah.
Well, you just say, please don't.
Yeah, he was like, yeah.
Loving it.
He was like, yeah, this is going to be so
Girl,
fun.
I was crying.
Yes.
He said, we used to get it in.
No shame.
Lawrence was dying.
I guess he say Mazda don't care.
Mazda don't care either.
Cool.
Mazda's here for the square, whatever cornflower thingy they were going in there to eat. Mazda said, I'm about to go eat this ribeye.
Right. I was crying. And then Lawrence is like, all right, what's been real? He tells her bye. And I was sitting like, oh no, this is not finna just leave like that.
Because Mazda said we gotta eat so we can go to the art walk or whatever.
Right.
And
but then
Issa
Lawrence
started saying
left.
like, but then before that, Issa started saying like, when the last time you went to the art walk? Yeah,
yeah.
Right. And then like Rasheed was saying, he was like, all right then.
I was like,
just have fun with that.
I was like,
to Miko's point, that's the part where I was like, oh, I know he's not gonna.
But then he comes back.
Because that's like, I know he ain't going to see no condola.
Girl, I was about to be like, he was about to be on my list. I was about to go find a list.
Right.
I loved them at the art walk. When they were walking through
that born identity banter was so funny because they just get each other.
The torn identity. You got the horn identity.
The horn identity? Girl, I was dying.
Like the warm identity.
Oh my God.
You care about clout.
I love them so much together. I mean, at first I was kind of like, I don't know how I feel about them getting back together, but seeing the 2020 Issa and Lawrence, who have grown up, who have matured, I still feel like she's matured a little bit more than him because he's still getting texts from Condoza, whatever her name is.
But I don't.
They just broke
But
up.
he was.
They're trying to get closure too.
But that's what I was gonna say. I was okay with it because he was honest and he told her who it was and how she wanted to talk, and they had been talking. So at least he didn't lie.
Did he outright tell her, or did he answer the question?
No, she had to ask because he didn't just come out and be like, "Oh yeah, we still kicking it." Not that he owed her that.
I was like, he didn't know it too, though.
But you know, you getting these phone calls from this chick or whatever. You know they're cool. It felt like I was like, okay, what is this about? Is this closure, or is this we're doing this again? Like I couldn't tell what this was about.
If he was over here trying to get it right and get it tight with me, then you do need to tell me. Like, that's how I feel.
You don't know what he wants yet. He's still trying. They both leaving it open.
So
Yeah.
So they take the lift, right? Back.
Wait.
No,
Wait. Before we get to his house, the art thing, when they were talking about the pictures.
Yes.
And they were saying, you know, this one looks like Chad, that looks like a Chad painting, and that looks like a Kelly painting. And then they were like, what about that one? And they didn't show us.
It's either her or them together, I think. Maybe it reminds them of
Love thing.
And Love.
And then he buys it. And they still didn't show
I can't wait to see it, right? I can't wait to see it.
Yeah. Because the way she looks, she's like, I don't know. But I'm like, it's either her or them or Love.
Yeah.
It represents them.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Well,
He bought it.
not only did they buy the piece of art, they also bought the sweatshirt that she saw. And I was like, what is that sweatshirt? I think I need that.
It was
right.
Sweatshirt. So they take the lift, and Issa starts to, you know, pick at him a little bit about hanging this nice piece of art in his bachelor pad, because she's like, oh, first of all, we're neighbors.
Mm-hmm.
You probably over here, you know, bumming it out like a bachelor. And he was like, oh, no, I've leveled up.
Right.
And then he says to the Lyft driver as they pull up to his place, can you give her 5 minutes? I was like,
when he said that, I was like, oh, it's on. It's on.
Yeah, I knew it was going to happen.
It is on.
He said, can I use your bathroom? I said, oh, she's going to go do the little check. The little, make sure that thing fresh.
Y'all a mess.
Where did y'all find my
whoop whoop?
Where did y'all find my shit?
Girl, she done went and did that little hoe bath real quick.
Right.
I'm just saying.
Y'all a mess.
So,
While she's in the bathroom doing that, he on the phone with Condola.
Yes.
So went all the way outside.
Condola won't go away, but it was kind of, she was blowing his phone up a lot.
She was, which scared
let me
me.
tell y'all something.
Told her.
Let me tell y'all something. If Condola is preggers with the twins,
I don't think so. She wants to.
I hope not, because I'm trying to figure out why she blowing up his spot like this.
I'm like, why is she blowing him up like that? If you said you wanted to meet Tuesday, something is urgent to make you want to meet tonight. I tell you to hit you up when I'm done, and you still blowing me up. It's something.
She feel it in her spirit, and she kind of feel like she made.
That's what it is.
Because whatever he said in that conversation that broke them up, that, you know, he saw a future with Issa, and if, you know, if she hadn't cheated, they would still be together. Whatever that conversation was, and they broke up, she's now in hindsight like, I'm not going to, you know, he's a good guy.
Lose this good guy, right? I'm hoping
he was supposed to just be a jump off or whatever.
Yeah.
Now you really want him.
Now you want him.
I'm hoping that's what it is.
And she's probably looking like, these streets, they thin. It ain't no good, like, good catches.
Especially in LA, baby. Let me tell you, honey, I was out there.
In LA, I heard.
Picking to slim.
And so she probably like, let me blow his phone before somebody else get him. And Issa's seeing what he's doing as well. Like, oh, whoever get it first, Condola after him. She was like, let me shoot my shot.
So then when he comes back in, she asks, you know, was that Condola? He tells her, yeah. She wants to hook up or whatever.
Wait. I'm sorry. When she says, oh, you've been taking good care of it, and it's their couch, I was like, man.
Like, it's a good spot for it to be. Yeah.
Okay,
I remember when they got that couch.
Yeah.
Couch.
For old time's sake.
I'm saying, yeah.
But anyway, so go ahead, Marcia. I'm sorry.
Oh, what did I say?
She was talking about when they were saying that canola, and then she was kind of like, you know, he talked about that part. Then she was like, she was about to leave, and then she said, "What if I want to stay?"
Girl, when she said that, I just heard music in the background, like.
Said, I was really happy today. And she was like, and you make me happy.
Yeah.
Girl, it was like one of them run back in the rain things, like, oh,
right.
I love you.
I've been seeing people make a big issue about him saying me too when she said, you really make me happy today, or you make me happy, and he was like,
and
me
he said me too.
And he was, instead of you make me happy too, or you do too, or something like that. People really got into that, but I don't know if that.
I didn't. I just felt like he was saying
and everything. I felt like he was saying you make me happy too. Like
he was saying I don't want you to leave either.
Yeah.
Right. I don't know how I felt about the you make me happy too, but I know he was like, well, it looked like she about to throw it, so I'm gonna catch it.
Yeah,
I would have threw it too, had he. So I would have been like, I ain't leaving either. Them sheets look clean back there in that bed.
Then they get it in, but and I'll notice between me, all the sex scenes, they made love versus
girl. They made love, and then you know that they
be having sex with on the show. They don't be having sex like that,
right? And you know with her, and then the crazy thing is like with her and TSA, and she was like, "Oh, wait this way. Oh, wait, hold on." And so it was.
They know each other.
They knew every part of each other's body, and they was just like.
And then when Lawrence and Condola, Lawrence and the bank girl, whatever.
Yeah. Oh God! Don't even bring her up.
They would be, it wasn't no love.
Chase hoe.
Yeah, Chase hoe. That was right.
They was just smashing.
It wasn't no, even with him and Condola, it was no like sensual.
Girl.
Well, tonight. And the next morning, she wakes up looking ever so lovely. It looked like she had pulled a Whitley. So y'all remember when Whitley and Dwayne first got married, and she would wake up in the morning, she'd be like, splash that water in her face. She looked like she had pulled a Whitley. Okay.
You see, she had her sweatshirt.
When to put on the sweatshirt, because who's sleeping in a hot ass sweatshirt?
Yeah, she done something, but she put her underwear back on, her sweatshirt on. So.
Yeah. And she said, I'll see you later, basically. She's like, I think I'm going to walk home. Now, I did expect the Lyft driver to still be sitting out there because just the concept. I thought that person would be there, and I was like, that would be hilarious. But she walked.
They have a policy.
Big encounter with Condola. I thought she was going to be outside the door.
Girl, I thought the same thing. I was like, she going to stab her in the street.
I thought it was gonna be messy like that, or she was gonna run into somebody she knew. But I thought it was gonna be Condola or maybe Molly, like just because because she was walking, especially when she started walking.
But that was a long walk.
They said they neighbors, but it felt like whew.
In the same look
in heels.
I feel like her and Lawrence.
She was strutting. She was so happy. She was twisted.
Baby, she was walking on cloud 9, but like she had got her groove back. Do you hear me?
She was happy.
She was so happy, and I was too.
But he was smiling when she left. Before she left, and when she left, he was smiling. He was cheesing hard too. He was happy.
I mean, but it was, and what I felt confused because it was not like I'll talk to you later. It wasn't anything like that.
He might be going to San Francisco too. It was just so open.
Yeah. And I kind of dug that nobody said, well, what does this mean or whatever. I just kind of felt like.
They just checked on each other. You okay? You okay? Yeah, I'm good. And it was kind of like.
It might have just been closure.
Right.
It seemed like they had
or is it opening something? I don't know. But I loved it.
We, the audience, did not have, but they seem like it's either open or it's closure. Like this, like I'm good, like how this is ended, or we can, pick up and start anew. I don't know what's gonna happen though.
I loved it.
I'm just hoping Condola's gone.
She not.
She just don't look. She looked like a roach. I just don't think she's going away. I just
now that
really want her to go away.
Mean.
Well, I want her to go away.
She was like a little gnat buzzing.
Ponytail. I really hope Ponytail is not preggers. Marcia, Marcia, what's supposed to happen next week?
So this is the other thing, right? So I'm like, they next week don't look like they showing Condola.
Because Condola is filming 20s with Lena Waithe.
Right, which leads me to think Condola gonna show up in the last episode.
She probably will. She might show up in the
But
last
next week we have the Molly and Issa come to Jesus meeting.
possibly reconciliation, because she's gotten closure with Lawrence. Now the next major relationship in her life is her friend Molly. So
this might be closure too.
It may be, because it seemed like from the preview, Issa was ready to talk. She was nervous and talking about, the girl was like, "You need some alcohol," because she was up there just spazzing.
Right.
And then on the other hand, Molly was talking to Andrew, and she popping off at the mouth about Issa. And he's like, "Well, I know you missed her."
Clearly hadn't had that therapy appointment yet.
Clearly.
Don't look like it. Nope.
So I'm wondering how that's gonna go.
It's not gonna. I don't think it's gonna be reconciliation just yet.
I don't either.
And
I don't either.
I heard a rumor that in the next season we won't see much of Issa.
I heard that too.
And that
I heard that she's not going to be on next season. I don't know how they're going to do that, but that's what I heard. That she's going to be behind the camera, but she's not going to be in it.
She wants to focus more on directing and other projects. So I'm confused as to what might happen. Like, would this be a situation where we see more of, because you remember somebody hinted, Nikki or Kamika was talking about, I think it was Nikki, was talking about Amanda Seales and her character Tiffany, and how Tiffany was saying she really couldn't, or Amanda Seales was saying she really couldn't say much because of some of the developmental stuff that was going to be happening in the show. And so it's like, is this when we're going to start to see more of that relationship, more of the things going on with Kelly? Is Condola going to be pregnant? And so we see Lawrence and Condola trying to figure that out. Like, I just don't know.
Because I don't want to watch that.
Way to San Francisco. She could go to San Francisco with Lawrence to work on their relationship.
Well, they need a spinoff, because I don't want to just watch them other ones. Because I'm like,
I don't know. I mean, like, my thing is just end the show and let them get a spinoff show or something like that. Or maybe they feel like people won't watch a spinoff, so they just gonna keep it at Insecure and let her pop back in.
Natasha Rothwell, that plays Kelly, she's got a show coming out as well.
Yeah.
It's not Kelly, but it's on her own, comedy show. Because, she's such a good comedic actress.
Because she wrote this episode.
She did.
Natasha, AKA Kelly.
She was like, "Thanks for letting me have my rom-com."
Yeah.
Right. It was so good.
Wait, y'all, one more thing, though, before we close this out. I thought when Issa went to the bathroom that Mira B was going to show up.
Yeah.
I thought Mira B was going to tell her to go snoop through the cabinets, make sure Condola ain't got no stuff in here.
Yeah, that's why I felt like
she was going to show up.
Trying to see what he had in there, if it was presents of Condola.
Or I thought she was going to be like, "Girl, do we stay? Girl, do we leave? Girl, do we give it to him?" Like, I thought it was going to be something, but oh well, they didn't.
Nope.
It was still great.
It was a good
I
episode.
still loved it.
My favorite episode this season, I think.
That's what I was about to say. It's my favorite
Loved
too.
it.
But we know how that feels, that love, that dude.
Yeah. And Lawrence was looking so fine.
Yeah.
Oh my God. He had that haircut and that big old smile. Oh.
They just look beautiful. Like the
good.
personification of Black love. They just look so beautiful together.
Awesome.
I loved it.
Mm-hmm.
Loved it.
I would have rather seen that than that movie with Issa and the other dude. Like, it was so awkward. Oh my God. Did y'all see that?
But I did enjoy it though. People were saying that they didn't like it, and I enjoyed it. I mean, it was fine.
I will say it was fine to watch. I would give it like a B-. I wouldn't have wanted to see it in the theater.
Are we talking about
Lovebird?
Oh.
Yes, Lovebird.
Oh, Lovebird.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I laughed.
I don't know. I do agree that I don't know that I would have gone to see it in the movie. But I did enjoy it.
But it was something worth watching during Corona.
Yeah, but I would have, because the way the previews were, it made it seem, and because Issa's such a good, like, all her stuff usually is good, and so I would have, but then I would have been like, I could watch that on Netflix.
Right.
Yeah, I would have just waited till it came out on HBO or Netflix like I did with Big.
But you know, we
With
part of
what?
the movie group, so
Big
our movie group would have went. So
with her and Regina Hall and Marseille.
Oh, I did
Yeah,
see that.
Little.
That wasn't called Big. Little.
That was
it was a,
Little.
Child.
yeah,
It was based on Big.
it was
Oh,
like,
you're talking about Big, and I'm thinking Big from Sex and the City.
I'm
oh,
confused.
that's Big.
But I
Big,
enjoyed that
John.
one. I
That's one of
enjoyed
my
that.
favorite movies.
I
Big
enjoyed
is
that
one of my
better
favorites.
than
I love
the
Big.
other
Yeah.
one.
I
I
wouldn't
enjoyed Little more so than this Lovebird thing.
Yeah. I mean, I did like it. I enjoyed it for sure. But
Am I the only one that thought that?
that
What?
was
What?
When I'm going back to Sex and the City, when the phone was ringing, when it was Big, and she was like, and we finally found out his name was John. I was like, your name is John?
the biggest letdown ever, right? For real. Yep.
Yeah.
John?
I would miss.
Like just
A
this.
hot mess.
Yeah, but I
All right.
hope that we get some closure with
Yeah.
this Issa
And you
Lawrence.
know what? I'm just gonna shout out to HBO. I know we mentioned Sex and the City. Like it's so much stuff on HBO. Like their original programming. We've done Insecure. We've done Game of Thrones. Like, yeah, HBO
rock
just
with
really
them.
gets it right.
Watching Sopranos, because they all them shows I didn't. You know,
I want to start Sopranos.
I watched
Sopranos
Sopranos
like
back in the day. It was
I
great.
watched
I
Sopranos.
never watched it. I want to rewatch The Wire.
I am
That
rewatching
was great
them.
too.
I didn't get it as much now with these adult eyes. Older adult eyes. I get
And
it.
also, did anybody watch True Blood?
I try to start getting into it.
Oh, it was
People
so
love that show too.
good.
Is that the movie with the
It's
vampires?
something that I wouldn't.
Yeah, Vampires
not-
Love
yeah.
Live, and they got that Joe. What's his name from
My
Magic?
sister used to watch it.
Let me tell you, it's almost like that. If you cringe at it, like, oh, I don't know. It's almost like when people feel that way about Game of Thrones, like it's worth the watch. Trust. It was an
Yeah, I've
amazing
seen a couple
show.
episodes. My sister used to watch it, but
I watched a couple episodes too, but I wanted to get into it. I'm trying to catch it, all these shows that I never really watched. Trying to.
But wait, True Blood with them vampires, it was graphic, Nikki. I don't know if you would be for that. I mean, like pulling hearts out.
Well, I watched.
I mean, it ain't no more graphic than Game of Thrones.
I don't know. It's a little more spooky, like to me.
Oh well, if it's spooky, you know.
Oh,
I think
now it is a little
witchcraft.
scary.
That's what I'm saying. You know, she don't like
Yeah,
scary movies.
Stuff like that. Mm-mm. We just started talking about stuff on HBO, but back
Maybe we should do an episode on this.
to Lawrence and Issa. Yeah,
Right.
Yeah, look, y'all know I don't watch nothing. So I'm sitting here
I
like,
still think Nathan gonna be in the picture too. I still think Nathan is somewhere in the picture.
Nathan.
I forgot all about
I
him.
forgot all about him.
But I don't think that they have smashed since. I don't think that they have.
They probably.
I think she's been
Can't
keeping
tell
it.
because they've been talking for months, like before the block party. So even though this is happening like week to week for us, you know, you got to think about like they've been talking for at least several months now. So I don't know if they have or not. But she definitely at the house while they were
Yeah.
out of town.
Yes.
I don't know.
Well, we still have 2 more episodes left, everyone. So
Yep.
tune in to see what we think about the upcoming episodes. All right, ladies. That's
if I can get that blazer, please let me know. I wear a large. I would like it in black.
They posted who their what
Yeah, it's a bunch of websites that post the
I
wardrobe.
that Megan said that Molly had on, and the only thing they had was the bottom and the extra small. I said, well, that's not gonna help me.
All right, that's going to do it for this Chit Chat with the LoveChat podcast. I want to remind all of our listeners to please follow us on all social media platforms at the LoveChat podcast. And don't forget to like, subscribe, rate, and review. Until next week, see ya.
Bye.